tutorials. Today I want to show you how to make a reflection. The subject that I've chosen for this, so these are my daughters dressed up as LOL dolls. This one is a little trickier, and it's trickier because they are not standing with their feet together, so you have a perfect kind of like horizon line to reflect. So for instance, if you had a landscape and you were trying to reflect, an ocean view on the water, it should be pretty straightforward because you would just duplicate the layer, drop it down like a mirror image, and lower the opacity, and you should be good to go. Whereas this one, when I do this, so I'm going to show you what happens here. So I'm going to duplicate my layer, the girls here, and when I do that, I'm going to do the Control T, bring up the transform tool. I am going to flip them vertically so they're upside down, but you can see what happens now is that their feet don't touch, and that's a problem. So what I need to do is kind of do this in parts. So I am going to do each leg separately, and then the middle as one. So the outer legs, I'm going to create their own layer, and then the inside legs, and then that way they will touch. So I already have this one, so we can just keep that actually for the outside layer. And actually what I can do is just make a copy of this. So I will duplicate the layer. Okay, so we're going to rename these so we don't get them lost in my millions of messages or layers. So that's the reflection. This one we'll call inside legs. Inside leg reflection. I left out an E, didn't I? And this one I'm going to call outside leg reflection. I'm going to create a layer mask. I'm going to turn off the second layer there. So on the outside legs, I created a layer mask, and I'm going to brush off the inside legs here. So my brush tool selected here, and let me just brush these off. I'm going to pull up a hard brush because I don't want it to blend in any to the other. And I'm going to delete these off. Okay, like that. And then, so that's the outside. For the inside, I'm going to, oops, wrong one. Inside. Oh yes, sorry. I was wondering why they were moving. I want those to touch, and I'm going to delete off the outside legs, so create a layer mask. I'm going to zoom in just a bit, and I'm going to turn off the outside layer and brush off these legs here. Okay. And then the other outside leg here. I'm going to leave the skirt. Okay. So now that I have my two, this one looks good, this looks good. These two, I need the heels to touch a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and merge these layers because they're fine now. Merge. And I'm going to duplicate them just so that I can see the changes, and I usually turn off one of them. And basically I'm going to go into liquify, and I'm going to pull the legs together. I'm going to scoot those a little bit. There, that's good. I'm going to pull the heels together. So when I go into the liquify tool, you're going to see that it's only going to bring up, obviously, one layer. I have not merged these, so it's only bringing up the layer that I have selected. So, and this is going to look a little silly, and that's fine, because you're going to lower the opacity and you're going to add a blur to it, so you're never going to be able to tell that it's this nuts looking. You kind of have to, you know, you're kind of winging it here. Do this. It looks like she has little hooves right now. And then hit OK and see if that's enough. You might have to adjust it. Oh, so close. So we'll go back in, do a little bit more. You don't want to change the layer of, you know, their actual layer. And what you're seeing here. So when I'm I can't multitask ever. What I meant is you don't want to change the layer that is them. So not the reflection, but the actual subjects. You don't want to alter them at all. But it's okay to do that to this. You're seeing how I joined the two layers together originally when I deleted out the inside legs and then the outside legs. So that's why you're seeing them twice. But it's off of the screen, so that's why it doesn't matter. Okay, much better. So now that they match up and all that fun, I can get rid of this other one because I don't need it. So here's my reflection. I'm going to lower the opacity to, let's go about 40-ish. I want to add a blur, so I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and at about 10%. You can see you don't want it to be too crazy. The idea is that this should be a very glossy surface, so it's going to have a high reflection. If it was a little more of a matte surface, then that blur would be greater. Okay, so I think that's good. The only other thing I would do is, as the reflection gets farther away from the subject, it's going to start to fade a bit. So I usually will erase it off just a tad as it gets farther away. So I'll bring up a layer mask and put my brush on my black brush at about a 10% opacity. And I mean, ever so slightly, I'm going to brush this off here. Not a ton. But you can see the black here on her dress is a little lighter than the black up there. So it kind of fades. So that is pretty much it for the reflection. Pretty simple, especially for a more challenging one here. And then what I would end up doing is going back in. I'm going to add some, use the dodge tool the burn tool around the bottom of their shoes to create a shadow, and then obviously finish editing. I'm going to add some lighting effects and stuff. So stay tuned. You'll see the speed edit video of the start.
make sure you stay connected with Urban Rhino on social media. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment below, and of course, subscribe to our channel.